So, all right, well, I'll go on to what news there is in the world at the moment. Very, very good news actually for you folk out there in the clean air of the South Pacific, because they have had a big study of the effects of air pollution, which is evidently making us dumber. Prolonged exposure has a significant impact on our cognitive abilities, especially in older men, and especially in the maths and verbal skills area. Now, I'm not sure how I'm going to check on David because his maths was never very good anyway.
That was written by a woman.
So well, they've found that, and this was a study, Chinese study, I might add, of 32,000 people, and boy, did they know how to provide pollution over there. Older males are definitely should not make high-stakes economic decisions, they've decided. So next time you want to do some modifications of the car, you have to pass it through me first. All right, so we've got that sorted out, but it does show, of course, the opposite to that is when you are in beautiful clean air like you are at the moment, unless you're suffering from the cane fire burning, that you will be brighter. So there you are. You'll be able to make very good economic decisions and enjoy much better cognitive skills. Moving on to other matters, there is a discussion on what the new iPhone is going to come out. They're going to come out with a bigger one. The one I've got at the moment never fits in pockets. It will have twin SIM cards, which of course the Chinese phones have had for years, and it's very, very useful. Twin SIM cards. They're going to come out with some smaller, cheaper versions as well as the one with the larger screen. But anyway, they haven't come out yet. That's all just thinking about. It shows you how little news there is around when the news is what might happen. In Yemen, just as well you're not in Yemen, because they've had the last year and now huge cholera outbreaks. And I put this one in for David really because they are now using the Met Service to predict the rainfall, and they can do this 6 weeks out. I'm not sure why he's nervous about 10 days out, but anyway, 6 weeks out they predict the rainfall because heavy rain destroys the sewage and sanitation systems, and that of course means that they're going to get even more cholera there. So they look at where the rainfall is going to come and try and do something about the sewage system before it happens. Yemen. Yes, Yemen. All right.
They're more likely to be hit with an AK-47.
Yes, they are probably more likely to be hit with an AK-47 bullet. But anyway, we don't need your advice on my news. Otherwise, I'll start giving advice on your weather.
You do anyway.
Yeah, I do anyway. All right. The weather here, of course, is the news in New Zealand at the moment because it's just torrential rain. Auckland, Bay of Plenty, Taranaki, Nelson and Marlborough. So they're all going to suffer very, very heavy rainfall. There was a bit of news from Korea this morning. The Moonies in Korea have had another one of their large-scale weddings, 2,000 brides. But in another section of Korean news, evidently...
Was it just one guy?
It wasn't just one guy. 33,000 Kiwis visited Seoul last year. It is evidently the world's cool place at the moment because of K-pop. Now, I just assumed K-pop was Korean pop, but I had to look it up on Wikipedia, and it is Korean pop, but it's sort of a fusion of all of the other genres of music from around the world. It's European pop and jazz and rhythm and blues and stuff like that, and it's got a very heavy audio-visual content. So K-pop is evidently the cool thing at the moment.
I thought that was the stuff they put in old life jackets.
That's K. Yeah, K-pop. That's right. No, it's K-pop, not cock. Oh dear, this is degenerating this morning. Okay, Father's Day this Sunday, folks. Father's Day this Sunday. This is in New Zealand, and when I lived in America, it was always very confusing because I know American Father's Day is at a different time of the year. But if you are in New Zealand and you are a New Zealand father, then you will expect to be greeted by your children this Sunday. The papers are full of things to buy Dad. Okay, that's about it for the news. You can see it's not exactly stunning this morning, but the weather is really sort of taking over as the sort of the main topic of conversation in New Zealand at the moment. Just to let you know what's happening in the islands, there's some really nice weather in the islands. Clear skies, light wind. Oh, this is at Wunda. Good morning to Jane and Kevin on Levicchio. Outside, almost no wind. Boy, everyone's rubbing it in and they're up at the Mescalins. The wind's going to pick up. Yeah, the top of Vanuatu does look good, and it looks like it's mostly past New Caledonia this morning. So, and Fiji looks good. Oh, everyone's enjoying much better weather than we are. Yes, Troy's got a bit of wind, 10 to 15 east-southeast at Susui Island up there at Vanua-Balavu, and 15 knots from Pilgrim. They're over at Ranby. So, and mantas. We never saw mantas in Ranby, but there you go. They do move around a bit. We never saw a manta when we left, but we did a lot of diving on the reef at Ranby, but never saw a manta. Octopus and various things like that, but no mantas. So there seems to be a big increase in the manta population based on reading some of your reports that you come in with. Okay, nothing much more from me. Is there anybody with anything from you guys out there, or just to let me know what's happening with the weather, or propagation, more like it? Propagation. I'll stand by. Bellamy, good morning, Jan. Go ahead.
Good morning, Professor. We're today, so now we're up at UES. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Clear grey skies still here. We've got very, very little wind coming from the south, and it's just sort of not driven, but almost.
Yeah, it shows the satellite picture just shows light, but it looks like it might be that for a while. So yeah, I think they say way, don't they, for UE? There's all these funny little vowel sounds from New Caledonia area, and it is way, says David. And we had to learn them, because if we were talking to French people and we said where we were, we would say something like "oui" or whatever, or "uitio." They would look at us really, really blankly. So, oh well, at least there's not much wind, so pleasant enough for you to stay there a while. And it sounds you're coming through pretty well, Jan, so I assume that you are hearing me okay this morning, even through all the rain. Over.
You're clear as a bell, and we're actually getting up 20 miles up in UE today to Europe.
Other than when?
No, they said they were. Oh, thank you for that. You're heading up today to check in Noumea. And yeah, it's nice that the New Caledonia folk are very maritime oriented. No, she said UA, but it might have been OUEN, which is when. Just in case anybody else is going there. They might be in the Northern Anchorage, yes, going through Wooden. All right. So actually, have you got your coordinates handy? I'll just pop them in, Jan. Over. I've got 16644, and what was the latitude?
20, and it's
IUE.
Oh,
okay,
that's
we'll have to that's further west. All right, thank you for that. God, I don't know what that one is. Okay, is there anybody else?
Is that the one with the windmills?
Oh, David wants to know if that's the one with the windmills. I don't know. We'll have to have a look, and then we'll know. Anybody else? Excel, and you're still in Nui, I presume. Over. Oh, I've got copy on you. I wouldn't say great copy on you, Felicity, but you're in Nui and probably enjoying better weather by the sound of it. And looking at, I'll actually ask you in a minute. We did chuck it at you're wanting more time in Nui, because I think we hired a car just for one day and we managed to get around and do everything we wanted. It's a good little spot for easily getting around. What is the cloud and wind conditions in Nui? Over.
o'clock.
Well, I didn't pick up anything of that. It's just under the threshold of what I can hear through the rain on the roof. But anyway, we've got you in Nui, and I presume you are on the mooring ball now. You had to wait for that, but how many mooring balls are there at the moment? How many mooring balls? If you could give it to me twice, please, Felicity.
14.
Oh, 14. That's more than what there was. They must have replaced a few of them that got lost in storms. That's pretty good. But there's people coming over from the east. And I think that now that we have got people joining us from the east, and I see a lot of the folk that went to French Polynesia, even from here, are now back in the Cooks and Suaro and places, and up in Samoa. So we'll have to start talking about various aspects of arriving in New Zealand, so that our people that are first timers here can get a bit of a feel for options and what to get ready for. We'll start doing that in September. So I think with that we'll pass the microphone. I haven't had any flashes of lightning for about 10 minutes, so it looks like we're safe now, and David can cover the weather, which is obviously a lot better than what we've got here. Here's David.
Yeah, good morning, and well, boy, it's nasty here for sure. Now, our closed low at 500 millibar is still in the mid-Tasman. The trough extends all the way up to New Caledonia. It's quite broad. Now, east of New Zealand is our 500 ridge, and underneath that is our high. And it's medium pressure, I would say about 1026 millibar, 1026, give or take on that. The upper trough, though, is definitely a troublemaker. On the surface in the mid-Tasman, we've got a 991 well-wrapped-up depression. It's spinning merrily away as an occluded front. It's kind of interesting. It totally wraps around the depression, and it arcs over to New Zealand, where we are here, while another low center has spawned. And this one is the one that is sent front north, and it's directly over Gulf Harbor Radio. You've heard Tricia talk about our conditions here. And that's the one that continues north to the Loyalties and southern Vanuatu. So just southeast now of the Loyalties is the very, very small tropical depression that we predicted yesterday. Now this depression, it's real. It's sitting there. It's light, not much in it, but it is spinning cyclonically, of course. And it's starting to elongate sort of north-south. So we've got the cyclonic wind flow all right, with the axis about 172 east. And the center of the depression is going to shift down to the southeast. So those of you up in the islands are not going to worry about it. But it's going to put itself just northeast of Opua to give you an idea of its direction. And the associated trough is going to run north over Vanuatu on Thursday. Now, this isn't the same trough that's there now. Then, as we figured, that trough arrives Fiji probably Friday, early Friday. Yeah, right in that time frame. It's hard to tell how fast these things are going to go. We do have a lot of zonal flow up there moving fairly rapidly west to east, which helps the venting, but it doesn't push these along. What pushes them along is the high that builds behind them. And behind it, and I say behind the mess because that's what it is, we do have a developing anticyclone. And I'll tell you what, it looks like it's going to be a whopper. By early next week, it's going to be centered near the mid-Tasman. I'm giving you an early warning on this. And it's going to grow to about a 1037, 1038 millibar mountain of air. It's big. Now, it's looking big enough to create a depression. This should be a quiz. Where will the depression form? Well, the answer on its northwest corner. By now, everybody should have memorized that. And be careful of strong highs, because that is very typically what you get is a depression on the northwest corner. And that's what it looks like. The models are showing it. How big it's going to be, it's too far out to really say, but no doubt it will have some energy in it. Now, up in the tropics on satellite imagery, the main trough that we've been talking about is over Vanuatu and continues. Well, it's broad enough where it's affecting the Louisiana, just put it that way. Then it splits off into another trough, which goes on to the Solomons from there. And the only other active trough up in the deep tropics that I can see is pretty much over Rotuma, and it's running just north of, it's just north of Rotuma. Then it runs north of Samoa, and it goes east-southeastward from there out of the picture. Now, over to Tonga now, the northern edge of this Vanuatu trough, and by the way, the trough is angled now, so it's sort of a northwest-southeast orientation, if you were to look at it on satellite imagery. So its northern edge is just starting to affect Tonga Tapu, not the rest of Tonga, but just the southern bits of Tonga Tapu. Not a lot of wind this morning at 6 a.m. and up and down the chain there. Mostly southeast winds, and there are 5-12 knots in there, as reported by the airports. And that's for the group. Now, the barometer, Babao 1018, applies 1018.3, and Tonga Tapu 1020, 1020. So we've got a little bit of a pressure differential, but not a whole lot. The wind looks like it's going to pick up by lunch, though. There's enough differential to do this. And we could be looking at up to 20 knots east-southeast for Tonga. And by dinner, even more wind. This is my forecast now, so I don't know if it is going to be accurate or not, but I think we could be looking at 20 to 25 knots east to east-southeast. Now, tomorrow, a wee bit of a shift, and I think east to east-northeast, getting up to about 20 knots. And by Saturday, you could expect that long-awaited trough. It's finally going to affect the Tonga area. Over to Fiji now. The southern bits are experiencing the northern edge of the Vanuatu trough, just like Tonga Tapu. Cloud is building, looking at imagery now, for the Kindavu area and the southern Lao. And further north, it's more scattered, and the weather looks halfway decent. Up in Rotuma, it's not. The other trough that I mentioned earlier, that's bringing, obviously, trough conditions to Rotuma. And, Fiji Met is back online again, and they have issued a strong wind warning for Rotuma as well. Now, the main group of Fiji is going to be windy as well. You may not have wind now, but it's going to pick up. And Fiji Met, again, has issued a strong wind warning for all waters later on today. They are expecting easterlies 20 to 25 knots and rough seas force out in the open waters. Now, tomorrow, I see the winds shifting to the northeast and a little bit lighter. I would say about 15 to 20. And Friday, the main trough looks like it's going to lift north to affect the main group. And you could expect, the winds are going to be all over. There'll be northwest winds and northeast winds clashing. And they'll be clashing with southerlies. Those southerlies are going to be in the Kindavu and southwest Bidi Levu area. So basically, the eastern half of Fiji gets the nor'easters, and the western half gets the nor'westers, and those all clash with the southerlies. So that's a big mess. A lot of wind convergence, and where does the air go? Up, clouds, rain. Okay, Vanuatu is experiencing the main trough as we speak, and it's affecting the middle to the southern islands mostly. Winds are clashing, northeast winds in the eastern half and northwest in the western half of the group. And I would expect from Erromango to Anisham, I'm looking at 25 to 30 knots. To the north, lighter, maybe 15 knots. Now, all of that wind is not only because of the extensiveness of the trough, but also as part of that tropical depression that is just to the south of there. Now by tomorrow, expect south-southeast winds up and down the chain. They'll be in the 15-knot range, I believe. And New Caledonia, they wave, people there wave goodbye to the main body of the trough, although the loyalties are still being a bit hammered if you happen to be there. Now our lagoon area shows scattered overcast skies this morning. Expect south-southeast winds about 15 to 20 by lunch. Still some showers about. I see southerlies by dinner, and by tomorrow morning, maybe south-southwest winds, and they'll be around 15 knots. And Saturday, wow, Saturday looks pretty good. Light and variable for the lagoon. The sun comes out perfect. So if you've all checked in and are sick of the weather, looks like Saturday will be the day to explore the good old lagoon. And that's about it from me. I'll pass it over to the chief, and we'll see if we have any questions.
And hopefully Toranui is still on. I have a health and welfare for the yacht Haven. Haven returned last we heard to Wunda for something. Kerry and Bruce are on board a 40-foot Adams, it is, white hull. That eliminates the catamarans, I suppose. But if anybody has news of where Haven is, please let me know. There's health and welfare out for him. Actually from Freycinet too, who are Doug and Sandra are in Alaska, of all places, at the moment. So if anybody knows where Haven is, please let me know. Is there anybody with any questions? Come now. Has anybody seen the yacht Monohull Haven with Kerry and Bruce? Please let me know. Good heavens, we can't hear Harry, and normally Malua comes in well. Go ahead, Malua, and Willemie will relay. I know that he's there, but I can't copy anything. Go ahead, Trevor. Oh, okay. Let's have a look at leaving New Cal for Fiji today. Oh, there was another flash of lightning. We'll put David on the job. Boy, what a good roll of thunder that is. And nobody, I think, has come back to me on the Haven issue, but if somebody does see them, if you could give me an email, it's ghradio@extra, which is just xtra.co.nz, and we'll have a look at getting from New Caledonia to Fiji.
Okay, we need more information on how long that's going to take and whatnot, but you've got to stay behind the trough, which I'm sure that you could see that. That's pretty obvious. The winds are going to be light, and I would say mostly out of the south-southeast. So very good conditions on the west side of that trough as it slides north and east. So if you wind up doing that, things will be all right right through the weekend. But the winds by the weekend on Saturday start to turn easterly, and there might even be a little bit of north in it. So there's going to be some headwinds by Saturday as you head toward Fiji. So that's the story there. Over.
Thank you very much. Understood that.
Okay, thank you, Harry, and you've come up clearer now. And also thanks, Kevin. I've got your message about Haven. They're in Wunda somewhere, so I shall pass that on. Anybody else? Okay, XL, and they will be wanting to go from Niue to, no, not Hapais. You want to get up to Vavau, don't you? And you are thinking of hanging fire until after this system goes through. Is that your question, Felicity? Over. Okay, I do get the Roger clear. I shall pass the microphone, and I didn't listen carefully enough to know how quickly that system is moving away either, so I'll be listening too.
Boy, we just can't drag Felicity away from New Way. Well, we did a lot of diving there, and I could see why you would want to stay. We had some really outstanding dives in that area. However, that trough is going to be over you probably Saturday. Now, last I heard, you want to wait until that goes by. Is that still true? You want to wait until that goes by? Over? Yeah, I heard the Roger. So by Sunday, it will either have weakened, dissipated, or just gone, and you should have easterly winds there. Now there is another trough that's trying to work its way up toward the Tonga area, and that's going to be in the Tuesday time frame. But between Niue and Vavau, looking at Monday and Tuesday, the winds are going to be easterlies and maybe a little bit of north in the wind. We'll call it east-northeast. So that may be your chance to make your break for that. The trough itself may reach Vavau possibly Wednesday, but that's quite a ways out. So I'm not so sure if that's going to be the case or not. But it looks like you have a 2-day window, and that's all you need, just an overnighter to get from Niue to where you want to go. So if you scoot along, you could probably take off after that first trough goes by. But stay tuned, things can change, so we'll keep looking at it later in the week. Over.
And thanks, we'll clear with Excel, and Mr. Troy Diego reported that he phoned Fiji Met yesterday, and it was not their fault, it was Fiji Telecom. So Telecom strikes, and I couldn't even get an email message through to them, so it must have been a fairly heavy strike. Okay, is there anybody else? So we've still got pouring rain here. Nothing heard, so I think we'll shut down to save on what's going on here, and we will be back again tomorrow, same time, same place. Enjoy your day. We won't. Well, actually, we probably will, because we might just stay put inside, cancel what we were planning to do, and have a relaxing day. Turn on Netflix, get our Kindles out, and just relax. Well, that doesn't sound too bad, does it? Okay, folks, we'll be back again tomorrow. The frequency's all yours. Yes, we're gone. Oops, better turn this off.